And we're back. You are listening to Talking Boxing with Billy C. And don't forget, man, tune in to us live every day. We're on Max Boxing now, so wake up early, grab a cup of coffee in your feety pajamas, and tune us in 5:30 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And get involved with that Pal Talk, man. It's real cool. We join the WFAN, the fan out of New York City, as being the only two sports talk shows on Pal Talk. It's really easy to get to it. Just visit our website, www.talkinboxing. That's TALKIN. Boxing, BOXING.com. Click the Pal Talk banner and create a username and password. Poof. That's it. Well, joining us right now, former world lightweight champion, welterweight champion, and junior middleweight champion, surely a first-time Hall of Famer. He's a class act in the ring, outside of the ring. Please welcome Sugar Shane Mosley. Good morning, Sugar.
Good morning. How you doing?
Not too bad, brother. Not too bad. Thanks for taking some time with us. We appreciate it. We know you're getting ready for a big fight coming up on September 18th against Sergio Mora. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I just up here in Big Bed training extremely hard. Me and Brother Nazim. I have my son up here. I have Dynamite, Carl Dargan, Enrique Anellis. I mean, this training camp's been great, and I'm excited. I just can't wait to go get it on and the fight.
Let me ask you this, man. You know, a lot of people, since the fight was announced, a lot of people have been asking me and stuff. And, you know, the bottom line is, let's face it, you got nothing left to prove. You don't have to prove anything. I mean, you could walk away and you're going to be a Hall of Famer and all that happy stuff. And, you know, what's driving you? I mean, what's making you stay, you know, being active? I mean, quite honestly, like I said, you don't need to prove nothing to nobody. I mean, why do you keep fighting?
I mean, I love the game. I love the sport. You know, I love to do it. And when I stop loving the sport, that's when I will give it up. And I think, you know, even now, you know, not that what people are thinking, not as a big fight. Sergio Mora is a tough fighter. He beat Vernon Forrest. Fought middleweight most of his career. Came down to junior middleweight. And, you know, this could be a good fight to steps in. I want to stay busy. I want to keep fighting. And, you know, hopefully I can get back in there with, you know, a Floyd Mayweather, or get in there with a Pacquiao or Margarito or Miguel Cotto. You know, these fights are still out there and still available. And, you know, I still want to, you know, prove that, you know, even at this age I can still accomplish, you know, my goals and be victorious over these guys.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have a timetable? Is there a timetable for you? Like, are you going to flip a switch one day and say, okay, that's it? You know, like if you hit the big 4-0, are you going to say, that's it, I'm retiring? Or are you waiting for your body to kind of tell you it's over?
You know, I'm kind of waiting for my body to tell me that it's over, but I'm giving myself about 2 or 3 more years, you know, if you will. My son right now, he's an amateur boxer, and he's coming up the ranks. And, you know, I've been training him and working with him a lot. So I think he keeps me young. You know, he's kind of like the pacemaker for me when I'm doing my runs. And, you know, he comes in and he spars with me a little bit, and he's getting better and better. So when he's able to start touching me a little bit too much, then maybe I'll just hang up the gloves and let him take over from there.
I'll tell you, man, everybody, you know, every father, you know, especially with your son, you know, you always want to, you know, beat him in the races, beat him in the hoops, you know, and you're messing with fire there, brother. I mean, one day he touches you a little too close, you're going to be looking up at the lights.
I know. I mean, he's already beat me in the run. You know, he's a little taller than me. He's like 6'1", and 19 years old, so he's beat me in the run, but, you know, he still can't get me in the ring right now, so... you know, I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to teach him everything that I know, so you know, he can be the best he can be when he turns pro, or you know, when he becomes a professional fighter.
You know, you mentioned Sergio Mora fighting Vernon Forrest, and really, when you look at your resume, you know, that was the only fighter that had your number, basically. What did you? I mean, I know this is a stupid question because I usually ask it from fighters that have never accomplished what you have, but. What did you learn from that fight? Is there something that, I mean, was it just a style that, you know, you could have fought him 100 times and he beat you 100 times, or did you learn something from that fight that you've been able to carry on since then?
Well, you know, the first time I fought him, it was, you know, he beat me. The second time was very close. You know, I think it could have went either way. You know, it was a lot of, you know, holding and stuff going on in that fight. But Vernon, he's a great fighter. I just think that, at the time, his height, and just him throwing the nice straight right hand, was, getting in a lot, and maybe I had my hands a little too low. Maybe at that time the style was, the difference. That's something I had to work on. But, it could have been his style that gave me, difficulties, in those fights.
Well, before I get into asking another question that's outside that fight, I want to stay on the Sergio Mora fight for a sec. And when I analyze that fight, I look at, Sugar Shane Mosley having so much to gain from it. A good performance, and like you said, you're back in the mix. You hinted to a possible rematch with maybe Floyd Mayweather Jr. or something like that, or bigger fights or what have you. I see that happening. I see a great advantage for you, especially if you look real good that night. But to me, there's nothing in it for Sergio Mora. I personally don't think he has a chance against you. But even if he beat Sugar Shane Mosley, I don't see any advantages to him. Is this a fight that really, when push comes to shove, is going to showcase you?
Well, the fight's definitely going to showcase me. But Sergio, beating the Hall of Fame, if he can beat me, he'd be beating two Hall of Famers, Vernon Forrest and myself. And that might put him in contention to fight, some of these up-and-coming guys, Saul Alvarez, that's fighting on the undercard at 154. Some of these other guys at 154, he might can go and get in there and fight with. So, maybe it might do some good for him. But, I know that I'm training hard. Now, Jim Richardson is training me very hard, making sure that I'm in top shape, making sure that I'm ready to fire on all pistons. So when I go into the ring, I'm going to be in great shape. I'm going to definitely be ready. So it's going to be very hard for this fight.
Well, you're such a class act. I've been involved in boxing for 26 years. I've never met anybody that has a negative thing to say about you. And, because of that, you have all this uphill. I don't know Sergio Mora personally or anything like that, and I just think even if he won, and you're right, you make some great points. I just don't think that the fans, he doesn't draw the fans like you do, and that's all I meant. But another question I wanted to ask you is, and it's something that you've experienced with, and a lot of other fighters try it and with minimal success. But you worked with your pops for a while. He was in your corner, and you guys accomplished a lot together. And then came a day when you decided that relationship wasn't working as far as, for the ring. What made you really look like you made the right decision by doing that, and how hard of a decision was that for you to make? Was there something that triggered you that said, hey, listen, Dad, maybe this isn't working for us anymore? Was it something along those lines?
Yeah, what triggered it is I started noticing that he had outside interest in other things, doing different things. And, first it was music, and then it was something else, and it was something else. He still had interest in boxing. He still trained some fighters here and there. But, with me, he wasn't 100% mentally into the boxing game. And I think a coach or a trainer needs to be, if they're going to train a fighter, they need to be into that, they need to be into it 100%. And, he to me, he seemed like he was lagging a little bit. We talked back and forth a lot about it, and he was like, well, I don't think so. I'm doing what I need to do. And I'm like, well, I can see the difference. I can see what's going on, even when you train me, and we went back and forth, but we disagreed on things, but we agreed to disagree, and it was all right. He's still my father. I'm still going to go to the house, and if he needs anything, I'm still going to, give it to him, or if I need anything, he's going to give it to me. If I need any advice, he's going to give me advice. At the end of the day, he's my father. So, and I love him, and, it's not going to change. So we just went from there.
So you know what's going to happen after your son beats you in a race, then you're going to go home and you're going to say, hey, Pops, how about me and you have a race, just so you can get a W under your belt, right? Hey,
like that.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask you is, you mentioned Floyd Mayweather, and I got to go on record as saying, I was probably one of the only people in the country that picked you to beat Floyd Mayweather. The Ring magazine had me in there, and a lot of people criticized me for it. And there was a time there, we all know when I thought my prediction was going to come true. You had him in trouble. And you kind of let that fish off the hook, man. Now that you've had a time to let it soak in, and I'm sure you've watched that tape, what do you think you did wrong? I mean, if you got that chance again, like you mentioned that you would love that chance again, what are you going to do differently?
Well, I mean, there's some different things. I probably press a little harder, throw a lot more punches, more jabs, and a little bit more left hooks. The right hand got in pretty good, but if I would have brought him both left hook and the body shots, maybe I could have possibly got floored out of there. I noticed when I hit him, with clean shots, I can hurt him. It was just a bad night for me that night. I had an off night. I still had a punching power, but I just had an off night. And, sometimes things happen. There's things that was going on with me that, that led me to have an off night, and in the fight. So, if we can do it again, it would be great.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be picking you again. There's nothing more that I want to see his go, man, and it would be really, really good if it was at your hands. But, I want to ask you a question, your opinion about this whole Antonio Margarito thing. I know it's in the press. You were the guy that basically beat him up. You also uncovered some of the things. I personally think that, and this is all speculation, only my opinion, I think that, he had loaded gloves in the past. I think it was a mental thing, and you exposed him. He fell apart. What's your thoughts? I know you're going to try to be political here, but what's your thoughts about him getting a license? I mean, should he get a second chance?
I really think he should get a second chance on that. And I don't put all the blame on Margarito. I mean, Margarito is a big name, and everybody's going to say, "Oh, Margarito did this, he did that." But I'm sure Margarito didn't go to his trainer and say, I want to load my hands up because I feel like I don't have enough punching power. And it's something that the trainer goes to fighter meetings and all that stuff. And they know what to put on their hands. They specifically tell them how much gauze you use. I mean, how much tape you can use, where you put the tape at. All these different things. And Panama Lewis got banned for life for skimming gloves and stuff like that back in the day. And he was known for doing that. Now here comes along another trainer. I mean, he's putting in plaster in this guy's glove. And and I'm hearing they saying that, okay, well, at the time he was saying, well, this is going to protect your hand more. You're never going to hurt your hand. You can punch as hard as you want to, and you can just do what you want to do. So Margarito should be punished for it because he agreed to it. But I don't think that he should be the main culprit behind. I think that the real villain in this is the trainer that put those on his hands. Even when my father found out about this right after the fight, he didn't say, "Oh man, Margarito, man." He said, "Man, that trainer put those in that boy's glove like that. Why would he do that?" And that's my father was angry at the trainer. He wasn't even angry at Margarito. He was angry at the trainer.
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, you got a good point, and if you put it that way, I guess maybe more people would think positively. I think some of the stuff, we're forgiving a bunch of people, and I think if you come out and tell the truth, and his arrogance and the way he's been like he knew nothing about it in some of those clips. Come on, man, you had to laugh at some of those clips when he's looking around at the clock. I mean, you've been in this business a long time, and you have a tendency to stare at your hands when they're being taped. I mean, to me, he had to know something was going on, but you make an interesting point.
Yeah, no, he knew. I think he knew what was going on. But I think that it was brought to him by his trainer because he might have hurt his hands in sparring or something like that, and his trainer was like, "Oh, let me try this technique of wrapping on your hands. See how you like it." "Oh yeah, it feels good. My hands don't hurt at all no more." And meanwhile, he's busting everybody up with it, because it's not like metal, but it's like a little plastic, plaster, the cast, solution, whatever, that makes it feel you don't feel nothing. So it's like it's a hard shell, which is an advantage. But I'm sure the trainers brought it to him and sold it to him like that, and that's what makes it bad, because the trainer, he can sell it to Margarito, he can do it to another fighter and another fighter and another fighter.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It can go on and on and on. So the trainer needs to be punished and penalized for that. More so than Mark Riddle.
Well, he's getting another chance, and we'll see what happens with that. Now, the other thing I want to ask you is you've been around a long time, and actually, you've kind of been involved in the sport where, to me, boxing has always been peaks and valleys. There's times when it's really popular, there's times when it's not so popular, and you seem to have been involved with a couple of peaks and valleys, and right now boxing is in one of those valleys, and we've been talking about it a lot on the show and what have you, and of course I'm going to point out different things, and the listeners are going to ask me questions or what have you, and I've been on this rant lately, Shane, and there's a lot of people to blame, the fans, the fighters, the promoters, the networks, the sanctioning bodies. I mean, there's so many people to blame, but one of the things I've been saying is that, if we had to blame somebody, if we had to give somebody the brunt of the blame, I think it's the promoter. And the reason why is because I don't think promoters promote anymore. I don't think they get out there good old fashioned and promote a show, and maybe the big shows or something like that, but some of the small club shows that are the backbone of boxing, they're not getting promoted the way they should. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of agreeing with you right now. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of the websites here, and I rarely see my face on the websites, and I'm getting kind of concerned about that. I see everybody else, and I don't really see my name up there, and I'm getting ready to fight September 18th. So I have to agree with you a little bit. I mean, it's kind of scary. I mean, we have to get some people, or a team of people, promotional or PR people that can go out there and that's willing to hustle and make things happen. Now, I mean, it seems like people are getting lazy and they're just kind of just doing whatever.
Well, you know what it is. I mean, obviously your group doesn't have this problem, but a lot of the smaller promoters, they don't want to spend any money. I mean, I used to promote years ago, and we used to do the old-fashioned thing. You remember those things? They used to call them fight posters. You don't even see them anymore. I mean, these promoters do a show, and they send a Facebook email out to people, and that they think that they're promoting. And to me, it makes me sick because even people in their own hometowns don't know who their fighters are because somebody's not getting the word out there.
You're absolutely right. I think that they need to the promoters need to get the PR team out there and put the flyers up like they used to do in the old days, and start really promoting these fights. And that way, and then boxing will elevate back to where it was at. I think that's why it's taking a big dive or a big dip, if you will. And now, all people want to see is the big fights, like myself, Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. They're not really wanting to see these, what they call regular fights, which can be, the best fights.
You got to start off somewhere, right?
Yes, somewhere.
Hey, listen, man. Assuming, and I certainly don't want to look past the fight because you're going to be in a tough fight with Sergio Mora on September 18th. But assuming everything goes according to plan, what's your timetable? You made some references that you'd like some big fights out there. Do you have a timetable? Do you have a wish list? Is there a hit list? I mean, can you give us any other information?
Well, my wish list would be, I'll fight this fight. The winner out of Manny Pacquiao, Margarito, I'll fight that one. Maybe do another rematch with Floyd if he can't figure out somebody who he can fight. And also with Miguel Cotto, he's the junior weight champion right now. Can do a rematch with him. I mean, that fight at the Mexican War was very close. Could win it either way. So I definitely want to revenge that fight. So I'm excited. I'm ready to get in there with each one of those guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, Shane, you've always been one of my favorite fighters. I'm real glad you took some time with us. And, talk about class acts. The two guys that are active today, yourself and you mentioned him, Miguel Cotto, two very classy fighters in the ring and outside the ring. If he's in your future, that sounds great. I'd really love to have you back on the show after you take care of business on September 18th. We'd love to have you back and tell us about the fight and tell us what maybe you have something ready to roll.
Definitely. And also, I want to tell all the fans and people out there to follow me on Twitter. Sugar Shane M. That's my Twitter address. And and definitely gonna have an after party at the Staples Center or at the ESPN Zone at the Staples Center. So come down and check it out. It's gonna be nice.
Man, I wish I was gonna be there, man. I wasn't flying out there. I'm on the East Coast. So after fight party sounds good, man. Well, you gonna do anything crazy or what?
Well, no, I mean, I've got a few celebrities showing up. We got Cuba Gooding Jr., we got Jay Prince, a lot more other celebrities. They're gonna show up. My boy Lorenz Tate is good friends of the family. They're gonna host a party. I mean, it's a red carpet event. It's gonna go down. So it's gonna be good.
Well, hey, if they want to invite me, man, you know how to get a hold of me, brother.
That's right. You can come on down, too.
All right. Sounds good. Sugar Shane Mosley, thank you very much. Good luck on the 18th, and we hope to have you back soon, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, my man. Take care. That's Sugar Shane Mosley fighting Sergio Mora on September 18th. And, hey, who's a classier guy than Sugar Shane Mosley? Huh? Nobody. So follow him on Twitter. Make sure we get that fight. Now that Rafael Marquez and his fight was, he had to postpone his fight against Juanma Lopez. Now there's only one fight to watch on September 18th. Sugar Shane Mosley against Sergio Mora. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to having Sugar Shane back on the show, man. So anyway, hey, listen, I got to take a break, and we'll be right back.